Action blueprint. See here. Bear with me just 1 second. Get this party started. Just jumping on a Monday Mastermind call. I'll get back to you as soon as I'm done. Short answer is yes. All right. Start the recording. All right, all right, all right. Hello and good morning or good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're tuning in from and whether or not you are live with us in the group or if you're watching out there on YouTube land or if maybe this is just a recording. We do this every Monday, 12 Eastern Standard Time. It's our little Monday Mastermind. We've been doing this now for 3 years. Just decided to go public with it the beginning of the year. So I trust that you will find some value in it. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to hit the subscribe button and tune in where you'd like. If you want to join us live, you can go to thelosttransition.com/live. Feel free to join us. We have plenty of people from around the world that would love to see your face. It's way much more fun here live than it is on a recording, that's for sure. So, what we do here is every Monday, we gather around, we have our collective thoughts, we share wins from those of us that are in the audience joining us live. I do a little instructional piece. We open it up. We call it a Monday Mastermind. It's a way for us to kind of share what we did and great experiences from last week, forget about what might have been bad, and kind of re-gear, refocus for the next week. Monday is always the greatest day in my experience to start things off. Why have a middle meeting in the middle of the week to, get ready for your week, right? Does make sense. So anyway, that's what we do here. Hopefully you will join us sooner or later. We'll see you. This is week 17. We're going to call it the connection blueprint. This is mastering authentic engagement in network marketing. Part of the reason that we're doing this, as most of you guys that hang out with me know, I typically think about, okay, what's going on in the network marketing scene now that we could take, that we can use that as an instructional piece to share with other people, give them some thoughts, some ideas, things to run with, some education, some golden nuggets, call it whatever you will, so that they can move forward and move from that job that they absolutely hate into what I like to call freedom, or even time freedom. That's just the freedom for you to be able to do what you want when you want to do it. That includes work, right? That includes creating your own schedule, understanding your own net worth and your value, those kind of things, and working for yourself. It's way more fun than working for somebody else. I could say that. So, to get the party started, let's go ahead and let's open it up. Anybody got some wins that they want to share from last week? Talk to me. Talk to me. Fill my spirit. Fill me with joy. Anyone? All right. What's up, Gene? Talk to us. Tell us about your wins, brother.
Hi, my name's Gene. I'm a thirstaholic, and I had my last drink of soda pop yesterday,
Oh,
but I only had four the entire week, which is a good for me. So I'm normally having 7, 10, 12, 15 a
goodness.
whole week. So four was good. I'm trying to limit myself to two. And the way I'm limiting myself is the drinks don't go in the fridge until the day before I want one.
Good, good. I love that.
So So that way I'm not just going to grab it, oh, here, I want one now. No, I have to force myself to put it in the fridge and the next day I can have it because it'll be chilled because I want to ice cold. So, but just still trying to limit myself on the soda content. And then I've got to turn around and work on my food intake because I'm a foodie and work on that. But the win for me is definitely cutting back on the root beers or Mountain Dews. So, second win for me that I have is I can mute and unmute myself hands because I bought a pedal for my computer
Hey, look what I can do.
instead of having to go grab the mouse, run over here and mute. I can just tap the pedal now. So I really like that. Just got that the other day,
Oh,
and
cool.
um,
So you're handicap ready.
yes. And the third win is, and I'm waiting to see if there's going to be an affiliate program attached to it or if it's something else. Is I have a new tool that I was able to schedule over 25 different posts for different platforms like Blue Sky and TikTok and of course Facebook, my page, our um, Power Her Through Menopause Facebook page, several different postings and stuff like that.
That's that
So
one you showed me, right?
yeah, so
Nice.
I got several posts already scheduled, ready to go out.
Sweet.
Um, can't can't schedule articles on LinkedIn, so I got to still do those, but I had those all ready to go, and just still promoting everything, doing everything we can, and
That's a
so
beautiful thing.
got a couple of videos done. One can come out, I think today. The other one comes out Friday, and I've got some more to milk in between. So,
Love it.
but
Love it, brother.
slowly but surely put myself out there more
Love
and
it.
more.
Congratulations. First off on the soda. I'll tell you, I know it can be difficult. Soda is like so addictive. I've learned many things over my tenure of this 55 years on the planet. And thankfully, soda is one thing that I didn't really get into too much, just like coffee. I will drink soda occasionally, but it's like Sprite, um, maybe some orange soda every now and then when I need something bubbly or fizzly.
Hmm.
So congrats. The other thing, food intake, know totally what you're talking about because I'm part of the Clean Plate Club. Have been since I was a kid. Yeah, proportion is everything. The other thing, Gene, that I started doing, and maybe you might want to look into this, is DDP yoga.
I actually did look into it, and I got to dig into it more because it's. I know so many of the boys in wrestling that actually have benefited from that. It's
Yes,
just taking that time to do it. So now my soda intake for the past year, I've curbed myself down from drinking 10 to 12 a day
yeah, that's
by leaving it in the refrigerator.
uh,
So the only time I can get a sip of it is when I go to the fridge, get my mom her drink or do something else in the kitchen. Oh, I can get a sip of this. So it lasts me for 3 to 4 or 5 hours, that 12-ounce can.
good,
But I'm still trying to cut back more. But I drink water all the time.
good,
And I
good.
drink about the good sized pitchers of water. I drink 2, 2.5 a day. Yeah. But sometimes I just need something else, you
Right,
know.
yeah, that's why. Yeah, of course. I
And the
normally
flavor
drink
stuff,
water, wine, and something else occasionally.
yeah, yeah. No wine. Um, but I just need. I've tried the stuff you put in the water to flavor it, and it doesn't taste right.
It's not good
I
for
did
you.
find some flavored water, it was mandarin orange. It used to be made by Nestle's. That
That's not good
portion
for you
got bought
either.
up at Nestle. Huh?
That's not good for you either.
Yeah, it's exactly. So,
Let's talk sometime about water. I can tell you a lot of things that I learned.
so
The best
cool.
waters that are out there, I mean, just quickly, the best waters that are out there, unfortunately, are coming from the exact same companies that are poisoning our children with the sodas. How about that?
So,
But congratulations, brother. We're
all right.
really excited. See, not only do we share marketing stuff, but real life true things, man. We're really proud of you, brother. And keep us in tune.
Thank you.
I'm gonna try to remember to share my win, and it involves the DDP yoga. So stay
Okay.
tuned. Thank you for sharing. Dorea, what you got, girl? Tell us all about your wins and how many countries you've conquered now.
So funny. Hi, happy Monday, everyone.
What you got?
Um, yeah, not too much. I did like we had a volunteer appreciation at the coffee bunker, the place. And then, I'm president of the Veteran Service Council. And so I brought my family, just about 50 some people there last night, and the executive director comes, whispers in my ear and said, can you do a little speech, today? And I was like, sure. And like a minute later, he calls me up. I'm like,
Pull your
and
speech out of your back pocket.
yeah, so I'm grateful. Well, I was an Army recruiter, and so I was, and then been in business for over 20 years. So, but the teenagers said I killed it or whatever they say,
I love it.
chat or whatever they do. They're like, but it was really cool to have opportunity to speak, and then had extensive conversation with the board of directors. So it looks like that might be my next step with talking to the president of the board of directors. So I went from a zero to a hero.
Imagine that, huh?
I know, right? So, and then thank you, we're gearing up for the kickoff event for the Women's Veterans event in June. And I had this idea. I'm going to reach out to him to see if the guy that helped me get 100% total and permanent will fly out from Florida to meet some other veterans during this time, using this as an event. And I'm pretty sure he will if his schedule permits. So that will be really huge to connect a lot more military veterans and help them on their path to
Right.
getting their entitlements. And then, of course, having going to Virgil's thing this Friday has really helped out a lot,
Good.
and getting a lot of things done. I go to trainings, and I didn't realize and I get this whole like smash like couple hours of information, and then by the time the training's over, I'm so overwhelmed I gotta take a break. And then when I come back, I forget like 90% of what I was supposed to do. And then there's like 0.1% motivation to even do it. And
Hey,
then I
raise your hand if you all can relate to what Drea said.
And then I realized it never gets done. So with
Right.
his style of workshop was like, oh wow, I really got to do it. And then I realized, oh wow, I've never done this before. I've taken several trainings on how to do it, and I realized I've never actually done it. So it was really great, and it's really helped out, and I'm appreciative of that as well.
But you know what? The funny thing about that I talk to the people that are closest to me in the team coaching is that's part of being here and being next to the fire. Because when you're exposed to the information enough, yeah, you might have that overwhelm at some particular point in time, but the knowledge is still going to retain in the back of your mind. So at some point in time, some question is going to come up. You're going to know the answer. You're going to be like, whoa, where'd that come from? How did I know that answer? So it does happen. Just that's why I encourage everybody keep coming, get close to the fire. Look, I know there's so many different webinars out there, and you could be. I've been there, done it, right? Endless webinars all day long just to learn, and then nothing gets accomplished. I totally get it. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate it too, being on the receiving side, because, I give out webinars, and it was good to be on the receiving side to feel that, to feel that pain. And I realized going back, the most successful ones I've had was when we like, all right, let's take 20, 30 minutes to go ahead and do it. And I've learned that with different styles, people learning styles as well, where people think they know everything coming in, and then when you have them do it, then they're like, what do I do again? I was like, I
Uh-huh.
thought you knew everything.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
That was really great.
That's awesome, girl. Well, congratulations on all your success. I love seeing the progression and the direction that you're heading into, man. It's absolutely wonderful. And thanks for being here and showing up. Thanks for being part of our fire here. We appreciate you. All right, who's next? Vicky, go ahead, girl. That's who we're missing. We're missing your the other Vicky. What's happening?
I would have to say that my biggest win this last week was the being able to daily and consistently utilize the Facebook strategies and the engagement and doing them every hour, so many, and then adding friends and
Oh,
but there's still like there's a couple of different places that I have been watching the strategies and stuff, and so it's a little some of it's taught differently. So I'm trying to find out what fits best for me and what I do. So it's still really progressing great though.
good.
I'm
So
getting
you're
good and
talking
good.
about the professional dashboard that you now have and the things to do on Facebook is what you're referring to, right?
Oh yes, all the ad tag message strategies and the professional dashboard. I've been trying to follow along with what it's suggesting, and I've been doing the 5 per hour, and then inviting 10 new friends, and
Oh,
then
cool.
reaching out
Okay.
to groups. I'm trying to do a little bit of all of it,
Okay.
but I got more consistent with it every day.
Good.
I did not do a post every single day. I failed on 2 days.
Good. That's okay.
But I just got crunched for time. So,
That's okay. That happens, right?
mhm.
Don't kick yourself in the
But
head
I'm
for that.
still at least getting, commenting on other people's posts and things like that on a regular basis, and it's paying off in the long run.
Good. Absolutely, it will. Like I said, don't kick yourself in the head because you forgot to post, right? That's going to come
I didn't
into play with
forget.
what I'm going to
Yeah.
talk about.
Yeah, I didn't forget. I just had to go pick up my granddaughter, and I had other time commitments that kept me from doing it.
Your granddaughter's way more important anyway. So,
Hmm.
I mean, but I'll be talking a little bit about that in today's information. So, thank you for sharing. I'm really glad to hear that. I especially want to know more in the coming weeks how the 5 per hour is working out for you. Really, that's my main focus for anybody, especially if you're in my team coaching, all right? Because those are the numbers that are going to make or break everything for you. So, congratulations. Thank you for sharing, my friend. Anas, don't make me call on you. How you doing, brother?
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday to all of you who showed up.
Haven't seen you in forever.
Um,
How are you doing over there?
I'm good, good. I'm doing good. I've been missing internet. Whole area. I'm from Kenya, so there was no internet in my local area. So that's why I couldn't show up in these last weeks.
Gotcha, gotcha. So you're
Yeah.
glad
So I'm
to
so
hear that.
excited. I'm so excited. Last week that I picked up a new client, so that I'm helping him with his YouTube channel.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, brother. I'm so happy for you. So, can you do me a favor? How long have you been working at this whole internet marketing thing and promoting yourself? Not long, right?
Um. Yeah. Not long. Yeah. 1 year.
And would you do me a favor? And there's a reason for this. Obviously, you understand. I would only put you on the spot for a good reason. Could you tell us real quickly, and everybody that might be watching, when we had our initial conversation, can you tell us about that? And what I'm specifically looking for is the amount of currency that one might make there in Kenya versus learning the right skill sets and what they could make. Remember our conversation when I said that how much you wanted to make and how I told you that that was like below poverty over here?
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. He told me that. Yeah.
Can you speak on
US
that
and
for a
yeah.
minute? Just tell us a little bit about that from your heart.
Yeah, in this country, Kenya, if you're making $1,000 a month, you can live comfortable life. But in the US, that's below poverty, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's very different.
And then what are a lot of your friends and the people that you know ending up having to do and how much time are they spending?
Yeah, they're spending like 12 hours every day doing slave work, and I told myself that that's not for me. That's not meant for me. I can make more than that from online.
Goosebumps. Goosebumps. Goosebumps.
Yeah, they work 12 hours a day every day. Like there's no day off. There's no day of like seven days a week. They all work every day, 12 hours a day.
And can they
And
make
they
a
only get
thousand bucks?
no,
Can,
no, no, they make $300 a month.
wow. So I wanted to have you say that for a reason. Everybody hear what this man is telling you? That's pretty powerful right there. I mean, we should all be grateful, first off, for what we do have the ability to do. And I am really, really excited for Anas. He came to me, I guess it was what, about 3 or 4 months ago, right? Anas, something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
It hasn't been very long. And he came to me asking for help. And now he's at that point to where he's understanding, he's getting clients, and he's not having to work slave labor all day long, all hours for chump change, right? So I'm very, very proud of you, Anas. Keep showing up, keep asking questions, keep doing what you're doing,
Thank you
make
so
a
much, man.
positive impact.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, appreciate you, brother. Thanks for being here. Anybody else got any wins they want to share? I just wanted to put that out there. I know that it's important, and I trust that it'll resonate with somebody, if not everybody that's in here. So I'm super happy and proud of him. And by the way, if you guys need some things done, you ain't got time to do them, talk to Anas. He might be able to help you out. Okay. Anybody else got some wins they want to share? All right, Rita, talk to me, girl.
Got to do my little dance. Hey, everybody. So, I was, oh, not that dance. I don't think I'm coordinated to do that dance. Okay, so I started putting everything together and I don't know what I was doing. I just said, okay, I'm going to start messy or whatever it is. So I did get my my funnels and all that kind of stuff done. But
Okay.
what I found out that I didn't know I had, that I was looking for something else and found it, was a form that had the information I needed. So now I just need to connect that form so I can get the information about the kids. I was so excited. I said, I got all my parts together,
All
ready to
right.
rock and roll. My webinar is going to be on the 14th of June. So super excited about that.
Cool. As soon as you have some information about that, maybe next Monday, start
Yes.
sharing it with us
It's
so we can try to share the word.
Yes, it's already, I put it out, I posted yesterday on the Money Mastery for Munchkin site. And then, I know I have to get a group going. So I'll do my content today, but I'll start creating the group so they can have access to the content. But that's like three different ones I have to do. So I had to get it in my head first about do this one first, then get this one going. Now I gotta it's like juggling, right? Like,
Sure,
okay, got
sure.
that one. All right, got that one in works. So
Yeah.
yeah, pretty
Well,
excited.
lay out any questions that you have so that we can talk about it on tomorrow's meeting that you and I have.
Yes, yeah, get ready. I already planned for it. I
Oh,
already
the ball
planned
is
for it. I
rolling.
got you.
Okay,
Thanks.
cool. Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
Congrats. That's it, man. Once you get those pieces together, you got your
Okay,
system
I'm off
going, then it
video.
makes it a lot easier to move forward. Anybody else got any last minute wins? If not, I'm going to go quickly and then let's dive into this content because I think it's very important that we share this information. Hey, Curtis, glad you popped in, brother. Pleasure to see you.
Great
Any
to be
final
back.
words?
Yes, sir. Man, I just went to the TNV International Convention,
Okay,
and it was just Win City. It was a Win Nation.
sweet, sweet. A lot of contacts you made and stuff like that, or
Yes, yes. A lot of
good.
contacts was made, but just more importantly, just the reinvigoration of just that knowing that you just being reassured that we in the right situation at the right time, and you just like anything you were down about, and then just the support of your family and your team, and just meeting more of the family, and
Oh
just like
man,
you said, a lot of connections.
bro, you're giving me goosies. Dude, I love that. Yeah, man.
That's
They can't
awesome.
emphasize it enough to make sure you get to any events, especially if they're local and you can make it. By all means, you get that energy from there, and you feel like you're on cloud nine, and it helps you move forward. That's for sure. So, congratulations, brother. I'm glad you attended. Glad you got something valuable out of it. I'm gonna go ahead. If nobody else, my quick win is, as I mentioned before, in alignment with what Gene's talking about. And some of the things that I talk about and teach, right? I'm not one of those people that actually goes and goals the traditional way that people tend to goal because going in that traditional fashion or sense doesn't work. What do I mean by that? I mean, if I'm not trying to lose weight, I'm not going to say I need to lose 20 pounds in 30 days, as an example, right? Or I'm not going to go on New Year's and say, I'm going to make this my year and I'm going to lose 20 pounds this year and I expect it, whatever, right? All these things that normal people do. And the reason that I say this is because I've come from that old school background and understanding how goals are actually created and achieved. 9 out of 10 times, understand esoterically, you don't have to make a goal. You just have to, number one, have the awareness And then number two, have some research around that. Do whatever it takes, like to understand if there's a cost involved, what does it take to get what it is that you actually want? And then number three, just simply taking action. Or you can go the old traditional route of people that don't accomplish the goals by making some kind of crazy outlandish goal that you're never going to hit. If you want to hit a goal, it needs to be done in the proper way. And that means by changing something different that is in direct correlation with your aligning goals that will help you achieve that ultimate goal. Like Gene was mentioning before, he's slowing down and stopping on the sodas, watching his food intake. I'm the same type of way. I know I got to be careful what I eat. I know I need to do more exercise. As a military veteran who's a little bit disabled, but not disabled, right? I can't do any high impact exercise. So I had to take some time to figure out, like, what am I going to do? Last year, I think it was last year, I tried to do this 100 push-ups per day thing for 100 days, and it was working very well until I got to around day 45 or so. And then my shoulders just really felt like, ow, I hurt myself. So, and all be all, I stopped doing it. Just like I was saying, I almost knew I set myself up for failure, but we still went ahead with it anyway, hoping and trusting that I can accomplish the goals because of my military mindset. Anyway, long story short, I was at one point in time 220 pounds, did the necessary things that I needed. I make sure that I try to eat as clean as possible, be careful and wary of all the junk foods, watch the snacks, all that fun stuff. I ended up being down to 180, but 180 was my breaking point. I just still have not been able to crack that mark. So I had to figure out something. What was I going to do? And I came up with DDP yoga. For those of you that don't know, it's Diamond Dallas Page. He's a wrestler, old school wrestler, you know. And what I really mostly enjoyed about that, and Gene can attest to this because he knows what I'm talking about. There were some people in there, especially military veterans, one in particular that really rode the story home for his whole entire advertising campaign that will bring you to tears. If you see this transformational story about this gentleman that couldn't even walk, right? Anyway, long story short, I decided to do that. This was my first full month of doing it. We literally started off just in a bed, so it was nice. It was easy, but it was all in tune for getting ready for this week, which is going to be more of a chair workout. Proud to announce I got through that first full month. I only missed one day that I missed. I don't know how I did it, but I just missed that one day. But I've had the consistency for that. But before I started it, I actually gained 10 freaking pounds. So I got almost back up to 190. So within the last month, just doing the DDP yoga, watching what I'm eating, getting away from the ice cream that I was munching on, we're almost back down to 180. We're going to start the chair workout. I think it's Wednesday. And then I trust that I'm going to be able to crack that 180 mark. And my ultimate goal is to just get rid of the extra flab around my belly and to maybe get ripped again. Because back in the day when I was in the military, I was ripped like Jesus. So let's see if we can't get ripped again. But I'm pretty proud of that. We're getting back on that. But that's why I said, Gene, check into it. Slow impact to start with, making sure that you've got flexibility. You can get motion and rotation and then out of the bed and into the chair. But I'm sure it gets harder than that. So that's my win. And then I want to transition with that. We can open it up for later for questions and answers and stuff for today's documentary information that I want to share with you. And it's week 17, the connection blueprint is what I'm calling this. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, everything that I do is a reason. I used to have the blakersmadness.com because there's always a method to my madness, right? And with that being said, I wanted to come to you today because of some of the experiences that I had over this last week. So I had a lot of positives and wins, but obviously too, there were a few things that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, if you will. And I want to talk to you guys about this because understanding this connection blueprint and the things that I'm going to talk with you about today can help you avoid these kind of feelings that you're going to hear me talk about, and putting people into a position of really just disliking you, right? As most of you guys know, if you've ever been around me for any amount of time, coming from the world of direct marketing, which is door to door, you only have, 3 to 5 seconds to make a first impression. And the sad part about that is a lot of people make their first impression, the whole judging a book by its cover kind of thing. So you had to be really good at what I did to understand and how to be able to make that instant connection with people. So a lot of the sales psychology things that I talk about here are here to help you make that connection deeper, stronger, faster, quicker, deeper, stronger, faster. Um, but it's things that I had to learn over time. And some of these things that you're going to hear, you're going to probably be like, well, yeah, that makes sense. But yet not everyone does it. And while I'm having this conversation and talking to you about this, I want you to keep that one key word in mind that you always hear me talking about is awareness. And what I mean by that is I want you to be aware of the things that I'm sharing with you and ask yourself, am I doing these things? Because if you are and you have that awareness, now you can make that little change within your life. I don't want you to go and say, oh, I'm going to change my entire life moving forward from here on out. I'm going to be the best person in the world. That's not what we're talking about here. Okay. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither were you. All of this stuff that we're talking about when it comes to sales and marketing and stuff and becoming that person that people want to follow, that all takes time, right? I mean, I've been at this for multiple years and nobody is perfect, right? And I'm nowhere near perfect. I know I still have work to do. But at the same time, I know I have a lot of knowledge. I have a lot of value. I have a lot of things that I can share with people that don't have that same knowledge, that will kind of take that learning curve. And instead of it being like this, kind of straighten it out a little bit more. Because again, when you understand the psychology behind all this, you have a better shot at this than 99% of everybody else that's out there on the market. The other reason that I say that is because 98% of the people that are in network marketing don't even qualify. They've never ran a business before. They've never ran a team. They've never done sales, right? So we have to understand that everything begins with that first connection, and you never get that second chance to make a first impression. So it needs to be important. It needs to be solid. It needs to be genuine, okay? So I'm going to share 4 little things with you. I'm going to share some of the um, descriptions or dictionary verbiage for it, if you will. And again, I want you to have the awareness and think about these things that I'm telling you, and are you doing them? Now, this information, before I get started too, comes from 2 different instances so that we're clear. It's not just one person that rubbed me the wrong way. It was 2 people that rubbed me the wrong way. And it was almost back to back. And I was like, okay, are we testing me here, Lord, or what's happening? Right? So anyway, one of them, and I'm not going to mention names, I'm not that guy, but I'm going to tell you the situation. One of them, and let me make sure that I'm watching here to see the interactions on your faces. One of them came around like he does every single time he has something to sell. Anybody know anybody like that? Anybody ran into anybody like that? We're not like that, right? No, I trust we're not. So that was one situation. But then using verbiage like, hey, my man, hey, buddy, hey, brother, like we had a greatest relationship and we've known each other since high school. You know what went through my mind? I bet you don't even know my wife's name. If I was smart, I'd be an easy response. I'd be, sure, it's Mrs. Blakely. But the point I'm trying to make, right, is that there's no relationship there. The guy only comes around whenever he wants to sell me something. And it's like immediately I'm just tired of it, right? So it gives me to that point to where I'm like, I want to end this friendship now. There's nothing mutual here for me. And this is what happens in real life, ladies and gentlemen. Happens in real life. Why do you think you may or may not have friends now? Why do you think you might be the one that's always the one that's reaching out, but that nobody is doing that back, right? It's not reciprocal. Why? Well, because everybody's tied up in their own freaking world, right? Everybody's tied up in their own world. So, that being said, I need you to understand why I teach what I teach to you guys, because we need to start at the very beginning. And when we first meet somebody, we don't know where their mindset is. We don't know if they just had a 3-hour argument with ChatGPT on why they can't fix the damn graphics that I'm asking for. All right. I'm saying that lovingly, jokingly, but truthfully at the same time. So when you come into somebody's inbox and you're like, hey, buddy, just sharing this, and you can tell it's a canned response. It's literally copy and paste, send to my top 10 friends. I immediately want to send you an invite to the block party. Immediately. Then there's the second one. Almost the same thing. But there is a small relationship built. We're in one of the same programs. We're leaders in that program. We visit some of the same places, have some of the same friends. But then out of nowhere, here's that canned response. Hey, I'm just sending this to my closest friends. You could look at it, you could just tell it's freaking copy and pasted to the top 10 friends. You guys feel me? This, I know, right? Makes you laugh, but also makes you mad. If you know enough, if you have the awareness and you know enough, you've been around the block, it makes you mad. But then the funny thing that I got to share about this story and why it's so impactful and why I want to just drive this point home, because as I confronted them and I drew a line in the sand and I told them, hey, bro, really? They couldn't understand why I acted the way that I did. And couldn't just apologize for making me feel like a number. Because that's what I told the person. I said, am I a number to you? No, I thought we had a better relationship with this. Again, the same thought crossed my mind. Do you even know my wife's name? These are the things that I need to drive home, especially if you're watching on YouTube land and you're deciding to come into this glorious industry that's all messed up because people don't take the time to learn what they need to. All right. So keep that in mind. Those were the two instances that made me think, oh my God, we need to share this information, make sure everybody knows. How do we use this connection blueprint, what I'm talking about? How do we connect with people, be genuine and authentic and all that other fun stuff that we need to talk about so that we can make a difference? So that we're not just out there selling, so we're not just out there being all spammy. So, number one out of the four is the power of authenticity. I just kind of gave you a clue to that, right? So, when you talk about authenticity, if you don't know, it's the quality of being genuine. Woo, pretty easy. This is a big problem with a lot of people today. Right? And I'm not going to go too far down the rabbit hole, but this is something that I learned from one of my mentors many years ago. Write it down if you need to. It's called the human condition. The human condition. Again, going back to that word that I told you about is awareness. When you understand you have awareness about what I'm explaining to you, all of this makes way more sense. When it makes more sense, it will make you dollars. Right? So when it comes to that, we have to understand that I was even having this conversation with my wife this morning. So the person that you are right now goes all the way back to your childhood, whether you choose to believe it or not. goes all the way back to your childhood. When you talk about mentoring and stepping into your leadership and your power, that's going through the motions of fixing some of those things that got broken in your term of growing up. Whether that was your mindset, whether that was the fear of the dark, whether that was whatever it was. That's that journey that we should be going through in life. How do we become a better person? How do we become more authentic? I can tell you guys right now, and you guys might not believe it, I don't lie. I find it very hard to even try to lie because it's been so instilled in me from my mother. She said, never lie. Like, why would you lie? Just tell me up front. Right? She used to tell me, then if I know, then I can do something about it. So I was that person that I don't do the whole lying thing. I'm very authentic. I'm very forward. Those of you that know me very well know who I am, and I'm this way 100% of the time. 100% authentic. Absolutely genuine, right? So authenticity matters, guys. If you, and again, I'm not saying this to point anybody out or put you on the spot. If the shoe fits, right, wear it. If you find that you're not as authentic as you could be, that's something that maybe you should start working towards. If you find that sometimes you tell little white lies, I'm going to tell you right now, I mess with my wife because I catch her in these little white little lies, or like avoidances of the truth is what I like to call them. Because, I like how you avoided the truth there. We play around all the time like that. And you know what I'm talking about, right? Because she will, and this is something that I know from experience, she still is trying to learn, like, okay, hubby knows his shit. Well, she'll do that, and I just reflect and I laugh, and I'm like, what did you used to do? Like, as an example, we talked about her liking to move things. After having the discussion, we found out that a lot of that is probably because when she was young, she was put on restriction. She was put in her room. All of us know this, right? If we were brought up right, we all got on restriction. So what did she do with her time? She used to rearrange the crap out of her room. That's why she today likes to move shit around. And it blows my mind, but we laugh about it. We love it. And that's something that I love about her. Right? But it's authentic and it's funny, and we learn from it. So authenticity is the quality of being genuine, transparent, true to oneself. In the context of networking, it means showing up as your true self, not just a salesperson, right? Not just somebody that's out there to make a sale. I've mentioned this in the boot camp at the very beginning. If you've gone through it, you know what I'm going to say. We all get in here, we're all doing it wrong from the very beginning because we're thinking, I got to make a sale, I got to make a sale, I got to make a sale. I got to pay this bill, I got to pay this bill. I got to get the FBI off my back. Whoever it is, IRS off my back. I don't know why I said FBI. Right? But we're doing it for the wrong reasons. Instead of going out there and say, okay, what can I find that's going to create value? What's going to solve a problem? And then go talk to the people that have the problem and be the problem, solver. That's what it takes. That's what it takes to be successful in network marketing. Any real leader is going to tell you the same thing. Okay. Number 2, value first approach. And when we open it up for questions, I trust that Rita's going to say something about this. I know she is. Discuss the significance of providing value before asking for anything in return. We call that here give to get. Give to get. When you give, you're going to be amazed at the things that you get in return. Don't believe me. Try it for yourself. Try it. Just try for yourself to give more than you take. Okay? Because I know some people that don't take. I'm sure we all know one or two people, or maybe we did know a person and we sent them an invite to the block party. Right? But it can be in anything. Like, it could be useful information. It could be something that you've learned here or in training. that you see that you can literally just give them a quick tip, fix the problem so that they see results. And guess what? They're going to love you forever. Fix another problem, they'll love you even more. Fix 3 problems and they'll let you watch their kids. Not that you want to, but they'll trust you with their kids, is what I'm getting at. Right? There's a certain level of trust that people have to have before they're going to even let you near their kids, let alone leave you alone with them. Okay. So, first value approach, give to get. We talk about it all the time here. Third thing, and the most effective strategy that I can share with you guys, as far as overcoming obstacles or any of that, and even connecting with that person, is what we call active listening or level 1 listening. Right? I'm not going to even get into the textbook definition of this, but that's just you listening intently on the person. Right? What is it they're saying? And if you don't understand what they're saying, ask them the question, how do you mean? How do you mean? Write it down if you need to. It's 4 simple words with a question mark at the end of it. When you do this psychologically, it tells the other brain or person, I don't understand you. Can you make it simple for me to understand? Right? And their whole verbiage, the whole terminology, their whole mindset, everything will change so that it's a question that you will literally understand. Okay? How do you mean? Ask it. Simple question. But here's the thing that I'm really getting at. You will never be able to actively listen to somebody if you don't open up the door for that conversation to even happen. What do I mean by that, Robert? I mean, well, how are you going to know how I'm feeling or where I'm at if all you're doing is dropping a link onto my shit and saying, hey, here it is. Everyone's jumping in. Let's go. Right? I might be getting a little dramatic for effect here, but I trust it's resonating with everybody. As you can see, it really bugged me, right? Can you imagine if you did that to somebody like me, that if in direct alignment with the universe and I joined your team and I liked the product and I go crazy ape shit ham on things? Can you imagine? How many people do you think, if you did that kind of thing, how many people are you actually repelling from you instead of attracting to you because of that technique, right? And I know I may sound like I'm preaching the choir to some of you guys, but I think it's important, especially for anybody that's new or maybe hasn't heard of it, or maybe not even thinking about it because they don't even have the awareness in the front of their visual cortex. Right? This is something that I felt it was important to share. And I want to open it up. We're going to ask some questions here in just a moment. Last but not least, empathy. The ability to understand and share the feelings of another. I'm not telling you have to be an empath. And if you're an empath, I don't know if that's good or bad. It might be bad because you are feeling too many feelings. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying anything about empaths. I feel I'm empathic, right? But it's understanding the flow of that information and that energy so that it doesn't overwhelm you as an empath. If there's anybody that's an empath that's watching, right? But how are you going to understand somebody's feelings if you've never gone through what they've gone through? That's a deep question. See, I can tell you from my personal experience, I've gone through quite a bit, as many of you in this room have, as many of you watching this live or recording. I'm sure you all have been. But until you've physically gone through what that person has gone through, there's no way you have the understanding. So we can't sit there and pretend that we do. But on the flip side of things, we can educate ourselves with the knowledge so that we can speak on that. Many times, and why I'm telling you that is because when the wife and I or anybody else talks and they bring up a subject, 9 out of 10 times, I'm able to add something of value to that topic of conversation. If I'm not, guess what I say? I don't know enough to speak on that. And I won't try to bullshit anybody. I'm not going to try to, well, yeah, well, I heard, and just because you want to be Johnny Cool and be one of the cool kids throwing 2 cents that, doesn't make any sense. We just don't want to do that. I guess end all be all, what I'm getting at is, again, back to the beginning so that I can drive this point home, is be authentic, but have the awareness to understand what you're doing to other people so that if you're doing these things, you can stop them immediately. Secondly, allow yourself to open up the door and start the conversation. You'll hear me talk about that a lot, opening and closing doors. I make it relative to my door-to-door experience, but really it's the same thing in the mind. You can open and close doors in the mind. Right? I trust you guys understand what I'm talking about. I can open the door in your mind to have you think about something just like we're doing now. Right? But open the conversation, and it's easy to do this. Again, and I've said this many times. Hey, how's it going? How's your day going so far? Right there, that's a perfect way for you to gauge the person right at the very beginning. Right at the very beginning. I'm telling you, this is gold. Start every conversation. Hey, how's it going? How's your day going so far? And you will be amazed because boom, now you have the gauge where they're at. It's like a litmus test, right? You're finding out the temperature, thermostat. Is it high? Is it low? Where is it at? Immediately, I know, okay, this is going to be a good conversation, bad one. Am I having going to work? Am I going to have to lay somebody on my couch and talk about it or what? Are they an apple? Are they an orange? Are they a coconut? But if we're not opening up that door and having that conversation, then we're never going to know. And instead, what we're doing is we're barging into their door, throwing shit on their living room floor and saying, hey, check this out. Wow. I've never seen anyone have success that way. Never. So I trust that resonates with everybody. I'm going to open it up for a few little questions. Just a few little questions. Question 1, and anybody can take this. What challenges are you currently facing in your business life right now? Do you have any? Don't be afraid. Just one. It doesn't have to be a deep, dark, rooted secret or challenge that you're having. Anyone?
Yep, Gene's got his hand up.
Go ahead, Gene.
Yeah. Basically, and we talked about this before, is getting a response back or even having my message seen.
Sure.
You know, I'm sure it comes up on a notification and they see it and just ignore it. And, you just, a lot of what you're saying, I have learned and forgot.
Yep.
And so targeting more on those solutions and to their problems and maybe opening up message towards that more. Hey, I see that, this happened to you and, is there, something like that, open up the conversation that way instead. So.
Well, this is a question that you can even ask on your profile. Now, I want to say this though, so that we all understand. If this is too deep of a rooted question, people won't answer it. But what I do want you to notice is that it wasn't deeply rooted for us to talk about this, for Gene to raise his hand. If it's deeply rooted, Gene would not have raised his hand. Everybody with me on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But what that does when you ask that question, it literally opens up that door for that deeper conversation that we're talking about. 2 things we want to get real good at here is asking questions and telling stories.
Mm-hmm.
Ask the question. Tell your story, brother. Gene, tell your story. Hey, I know what it's like putting out that content, wondering if anybody's ever even going to see it. Exactly what you just said right now.
Mm-hmm.
Try putting that together and putting a post out, brother, and tell us how that works.
Cool.
Cool? Dre, you got some feedback?
Yeah. My challenge is, I'm old school, and I've been trying to get on board with all this online stuff, which seems so weird because I'm not that old. I do online stuff all the time, but all the funnels, grabbing. I'm trying to do something in the system to like coincide with the NAV program and stuff like that. And then, the learning curve, and it just creates a huge delay. And my thing is, if I don't understand something, I won't do it. And then the days go further and further and further. And I already have a problem with following up and in a nice time, So an analyst brings paralysis, and then, whereas like, let me just pick up the phone and just call them. I
Sure.
mean, that's just so much easier. Let me just pick up the phone. But the system, I've been struggling with systems, and then plus we don't get phone numbers anymore. So it's kind of like, even with the AI and all that, it's still like, is this the message I really want to do as my initial?
Sure.
Is this the how I want to present myself? And then I know once you do like a text message, or um you do an email, they won't respond back until they look at what you have online. So they're gonna search you out. So then it's like, I can't reach out to them in email because I don't have my online stuff that complements what they're going to be searching me out for to find the answers before they respond. And so it's like, let me just pick up the phone. But the system won't allow that. So that's my frustration
Yeah.
is, the battling the old school with the new school, and their systems available, which are great, is just getting me to get along with the system. That's my challenge.
My easy answer for you, Dre, is I would like you to consider our team coaching. Okay.
And I know what to do, and I know how
Okay.
to do it.
Okay. And what's the problem, soldier? Do I need to talk to you that way?
Yeah, just spending the time. Yeah, exactly. Spending the time.
Rita just said, "How's that working
You're
for
right. Yeah, how's that working for you, smarty party? Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's just taking the
you?"
time, the days.
Sure.
For me, it takes days, if not weeks, to get the system together versus just let me just pay somebody to just do it.
Yeah, but
And then
see,
I still
here's the
don't know how
thing.
to do it.
I can totally relate and understand where you're coming from because I talk about this all the time. The amount of learning that it took for me to get to this point to be able to create a web page, right? Oh my God. The things just to put a simple 2-page funnel together used to take us weeks, months. You'd have to connect the autoresponder, make sure you had the right list, take that code, put it in here. Vicky knows what I'm talking about. Like it's ridiculous. You got to learn the gobbledygook is what I call it. Got to learn the gobbledygook, and if you don't know that, it's like ah. So now, side that's another reason I love them is because you can do it quick and easy. Like I put together a magnetic funnel in the matter of literally like 4 or 5 hours, and I could show you all that. I could teach you all that. I could show you use this program, this program. Hell, I even hook up my people with free hosting too for videos. So you have more power and control over your videos and all that stuff. But yeah, just consider it. I'm not trying to hard close you or anything like that, but just consider it. Consider getting a mentor, somebody that can help you tie together those loose ends. Might take us 3 months and then you can move on your own way, whatever you want. Okay. Just consider it. Thank you, though. Jackie, what you got, my friend?
Well, it was literally kind of like piggybacking off of Dorea, number one,
Cool.
because I could understand exactly what she was saying, but it was also my own habits where I love Now Site so much that I don't even check it sometimes, right? And therein lies the problem. You've already spoken to me about that. And that's a habit that I have got to get into, where I actually do check it to make sure that it's not overcomplicating questions that need to be simplified. And if they're simplified, then I'm likely to get a better response. So I have to get into the habit of checking the machine, because it's a machine.
Mhm. For sure, for sure. I don't know about you guys, well, other than Jackie, what you've told me right now, I keep my now site open 24/7. I open my browser, boom, there it is. No, I gotta find it. No, I gotta log in. None of that. I got it ready, rocking and rolling. So just something to think about and consider. Rita, what you got, girl? Bring us
Okay.
home.
All right. Hands down. All right. So, yes. Um,
Mute myself.
I'm gonna hard close you. You just do it because you're gonna see what's going on in this group, and you'll see people moving, and it looks as though, oh, they knew all that stuff. They got no. No, you pick up a little bit here, you pick up a little bit there, and then you're like, okay, I may have heard some of this stuff before. Yeah, okay. Talking to people, how often have you heard? Just have a conversation. But if you don't know how to have a conversation and it's never been demonstrated to you, like my brain trip is children should be seen and not heard. And I heard that all growing up. And guess what I did?
Mm, mm.
When I got to Toastmasters and people wanted to hear what I had to say, I was like, ooh, but right? So I'm dealing with that in the back of my head. That's a psychological stuff that goes on. But then when with what he just said, that was a bell ringer for me. That was like, okay, so you got that garbage back in there and some other stuff that I don't know that's there. And that brings it out. The other thing is with other people that are in the group, everybody brings something to the group. Everybody does. And when they talk about, and I used to think there was a bunch of bull. If you want to go fast, go alone or something like that, or join, go with a bunch of people. Whatever that is, I'm not good at it. I understand the concept. But it is true because when I'm in there, I'm hearing Michelle going, oh, Michelle's got this great planner. I like it. I'm using it. Okay. All right. Got that. While we were in coaching, Blakester showed us how he programs his day, his morning. He's doing it. So we're like, oh, is that what that looks like? But and so now you're here trying to put stuff together. Like, okay, it's not working. I've heard it before. But this is where he puts everything together for you. You don't have to guess. When you're having a conversation with you, he demonstrates it. He's on there typing. You can see it live, talking to, oh, somebody answer me. Hold on a second. So, and I'm not trying to hard close you. It's just that it's going to take you longer. And I was like you too. I was like, I don't need no mentor. I don't need nobody. I do it myself. I'm an independent person. I was raised to be independent, but this is a different game. And it's different because if you're used to this and you want to do this, it don't work. The math ain't mathing. So, you know, I could appreciate where you are in your journey, but you will catch up with us. That I do know.
I love it. Love it. Thank
And
you.
the give to get, I could share
Oh,
a
yeah.
bunch of stuff. The give to get, that was huge for me. And that was when he talks about just helping people, just have a conversation. Listen, people love to talk about themselves, and that will come out. It'll come out. You don't have to say a word. You just, uh-huh. Yeah, really? Tell me more. Oh my gosh, really? And they keep going. And you just keep listening. And if you have an in, then take it. If you don't, then don't. It's like trading in the market. If you don't see a trade, you do not try to force one. You just let it go. I'll be back the next day to trade again. So just, keep those things in mind. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing an awesome job. Really, you are. I'm super proud of you and the things that you've accomplished. And I've watched you grow over time, young lady. And that you probably don't know people are watching you, but people do watch.
Something else that we've talked about. Huh? Thank you for sharing, Rita. That was awesome. Gee, what you got, brother?
How many seats you got left on May 10th?
As many as we need.
Okay.
I
So,
concede up to 100. We've got what, 20 students, I believe we have.
okay, because I know you want to kind of limit it and everything like that. So I might be
Well, my
hitting
thing
you up
for
on that.
that, so that people understand, right, is even with that, like, so you really understand, Gene, because and maybe this might help Doria too. I come from having to find $1,200 to go and find a mentor, $1,200 that I did not have. But I knew that that was that piece that I needed, and if I didn't get that piece, I was gonna die. That's just literally how. That's the piece I needed, and Jesus Christ, it was $1,200 that I didn't have. I had to go borrow from an ex girlfriend of mine. She wasn't happy about doing it. Promised the world, this was before I got married, just so you know. This was way before I got married. But it was with my ex. And I told her I'd pay her back by this amount of time. I'd have that knowledge and I'd be making all this money, blah, 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 blah. I sold her. She gave me the money. It didn't go down that way. So, having gone through these things myself, I didn't want to be that guy that was like, okay, I'm this mentor. Yeah, I'm going to teach you. It's going to cost you $1,200 to get started because the people that need what I have can't afford that high ticket price.
Mhm.
So that's why I set it up to at least have a team coaching to where more people can be involved. We all come together because everybody goes through the same freaking problems, Gene. So I can help solve everybody's problem together, even by talking to one person, like Rita saying, you're going to see, oh, I might have that, or somebody else in the room might be going through that exact same thing. So they learn more and more quickly, those kind of things. But anyway, we meet twice per month and you get one 30-minute session. It's only $50 a month. Stay as long as you like, leave whenever you need to. But that's how we roll. I can see
And
100 people.
what day is that twice per month?
It's Saturdays, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they're spaced out every 2 weeks.
Okay.
But yeah.
If,
So if
if
you'd like to
you'll
invite, by all
if you'll
means.
DM me the invite for that.
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate that, brother.
Mhm.
That's it, man. I got some value. I feel very awesome about today. I think that we got some things off of our chest while healing as well as educating. I think we all learned a little bit more if we didn't know before, having that word awareness. Let's think about those things that we're doing out there, guys and girls, and let's go out there and make that best first impression because you never get a second chance to make that first impression. So thanks for tuning in. Love each and every one of you guys. Toot toot. Love you. Bye
Have a
bye.
great week.